Okay, everyone, welcome back to the journey through the Star Wars saga. We covered episode 4, and now we get to episode 5, which is the fan favorite film, the film that people, seem to like the most more than all the rest. That one being The Empire Strikes Back, directed by Irving Kershner, not by George Lucas, as George Lucas took on more of a creative consultant type role for this film. But anyway, let's get started, shall we? Episode 5, picks up where New Hope left off, leaves off. Luke and the gang are now on the planet of Hoth, and they kind of turned it into like a base of operations, so to speak. And the planet at Hoth itself is just this. It's just this ice snow planet, and the landscape of it looks incredible. Like by this movie was made in like 1980, I believe, and with these special effects they have at that time, what they're able to do and what they're able to create is simply phenomenal, and it looks fantastic. You're pretty much using map paintings, physical sets and miniatures, and those old school camera tricks, and you're able to create movie magic in a way, and a planet like Hoth is a perfect example of that, where you see how they had so little to work with, but were able to do so much, which is practical effects. And it's not just the planet of Hoth that looks awesome. You got that whole the swamp planet, which is the home base of Yoda, known as the Dagobah system, and how that rich atmosphere and landscape looks. And it almost looks like this. It almost has like a horror movie quality to it. Like it's very swampy, very foggy, very isolated. You're surrounded by like these trees, and who knows what kind of animals are there, because we don't really see a whole lot, but we do see some. And it has this very rich, eerie, haunting atmosphere to it. Dago system, and amazing, of course. And we also get Bespin, which is Cloud City, and which is basically a city in the clouds, and that also looks fantastic and looks amazing, and it has its own little unique look to it. So like the Empire Strikes Back, and of course, the movie is wise to make these locations mean something to the story. Now they're not just there for the sake of being there. You know what I mean? Like the reason why they went to the Luke and his friends went to the Hall system, because it's so that they could hide out from the Empire, because they won't think the Empire could ever find them at the Hall system. So that's why they have the Hall system, because of its its essential like snow ice planet, which they're able to hide in. And of course, there's a reason why Luke has to go to the Dagobah system. He has to go to the Dagobah system to learn from Master Yoda, who was the guy that pretty much helped played a hand in the training of Obi-Wan and Anakin. So Yoda has, according to him, has 800 years of training Jedi's and stuff like that. So he has a profound knowledge of the Force. And the reason why Han and everyone goes to Bespin is because of Lando Calrissian, who is Han's friend and fellow smuggler, and someone that Han, because I don't know if you can say, kind of does and doesn't trust him all at the same time, and they have a really cool relationship that just by their bantering, like you want to know more about their friendship and how they became friends and what their history was prior to everything, which the script does a good job of like planting those seeds of a past history there. And the way Harrison Ford and Billy D. Williams banter off each other, you kind of feel that natural friendship, and Billy D. Williams as a whole, as Lando Calrissian, he just as an actor just has this underrated charisma to him. It's like he has like this charm to him. It's like he's playing like this sleazy smooth talker, but he's so like he's just so he's so suave in how he plays it off. He's just like comes across as so likable. Even when he does things like give Han up to the Empire, you still like him because he has that that charming personality that Billy D. Williams brings. Lando Calrissian just shines off the screen, so you can't help but like the guy. And that's all a credit to Billy D. Williams and just his natural way of acting. A very underrated talent. Very, very underrated talent is Billy D. Williams. And also in The Empire Strikes Back, you see the romance between Han and Leia, starts to grows more throughout the course of the film. And you really see them, progress in their romance into, with until we get to the end where essentially Han is frozen in carbonite because because the bounty hunter Boba Fett, who makes his debut, the fucking Fett makes his debut in the Empire Strikes Back, and of course Jabba the Hutt has put a bounty on Han's head, and Boba Fett, with the help of Darth Vader, is able to bring Han to Jabba the Hutt, which is why he was frozen in carbonite. But of course, that also leads to the most kick-ass line delivery in the history of movie. Leia simply says, "I love you," and Han just says, "I know," like a motherfucking boss. You damn right he knows. So all that was so their stuff was pretty cool. And Luke's evolution, also takes its steps to its logical progression. When we first saw Luke in A New Hope, he's just this whiny kid who wants a sense of adventure in his life. When we get to The Empire Strikes Back, he's like, you can almost say he's overzealous. He just wants to get into the fight quick. He wants to help his friends, even though he knows we knows that his training has progressed, but it hasn't progressed to the point where he's able to overcome these things, because Luke is in this fragile state right now where he can easily be turned to the dark side because he's not complete in his training and he's quick to jump into the fight. And when he finds out that Han and Leia are in trouble, he's quick to jump the gun and just go save him right away without having a concrete game plan on what to do. And so he's very open. He's very he's like I said, he's mentally very fragile, and he's open. He's easy, and he's at that point where he can be manipulated and turned because he's not honed his senses. He's not honed those Jedi senses yet. He's there, but he's not there. And also, the movie has a very good sense of foreshadowing. There's this one very cool scene where in the swamp, and in a mental vision, Luke and Vader are having this little mini lightsaber battle, and Luke decapitates Vader. And when Vader's mask explodes, you see Luke's face inside the mask. That leads us to the biggest reveal in this movie and of the entire franchise, and what makes the Luke and Vader rivalry go more on a personal level is we discover that Darth Vader is indeed Luke's father. At the end of that classic, "Luke, I am your father," and Luke with that call, "No, that's impossible." We find out Luke is his father, and and this is where Luke's at his lowest of the low. He had his hand was chopped off by Vader. He's essentially near death, and this big reveal just hits him all. Just hits him all at once. So it's like he was like Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was told that his father was killed by Darth Vader, and then in The Empire Strikes Back, we find out that Darth Vader was his father all along. So Luke is wrestling with these different emotions. He was lied to. He was in his mind. He was lied to by Obi-Wan, and then he was told this radical truth by Darth Vader, and it's giving Luke, and this gives Luke just more complex ability to his character, which is amazing because you want your hero to be complex. You don't want him to be generic cookie cutter. You want him to be complex. You want him to have these obstacles to overface, because when he eventually triumphs, we can feel elated and be like, yeah, you've earned that victory. But in The Empire Strikes Back, Luke gets his ass handed to him on a silver platter. Vader pretty much destroys him in there, and this is when Luke gets the Bespin, Cloud City, and he and Vader, have their first fight with one another, and you can clearly tell that Luke is not refined whatsoever. He is choppy, he is overzealous, he's not refined whatsoever. He's easily defeated by Vader. Though Luke does have a couple of hope spots here and there, but Vader pretty much just destroys him in the battle. And of course, we and this movie does not end on a triumphant note. At the end of this movie, Luke loses his hand. Han is taken away to Jabba the Hutt. We find out that Vader is Luke's father, and the seeds have been planted for the third movie, in which everything will be tied up. in which everything will come full circle. But before that, but of course, the movie, it doesn't end on a downer note, because it still ends on maybe a triumphant hope as Luke and Leia look to the galaxy, and and to say to an unknown certain future of what's to come. And to me, that is the only way a movie like The Empire Strikes Back can only end, given all the things that happened in this movie up to that point. Perfect ending, perfect ending, and a way to close it off. So, my overall view of The Empire Strikes Back is a solid. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Give it a solid 9 out of 10. Believe it or not, The Empire Strikes Back is not my favorite of the original trilogy. To me, it's a tie between A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. But I really do like The Empire Strikes Back. And I do give it very high remarks. I think overall, as a movie, I don't know. There's something about it that it doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't really. I'm gonna choose my words very carefully here. I don't get as excited to watch it as I do, let's say, A New Hope or Return of the Jedi. I think, but even though Empire is extremely well made, fantastically directed by Irvin Kershner, the writing by Lawrence Kasdan is fantastic. The character development that happens with all the principal characters is great. The introduction of Yoda and Lando is an A+. The introduction of Hoth, both Dagobah System and Cloud City, is also great. Again, I don't know why this movie does not suck me in like A New Hope or Jedi does. I'm still trying to figure that out. I've yet to figure that out, and I've yet to figure out. I give it such a high remark that I still can't get as hyped as I do for all the others. But regardless, with all that nonsense said, again, solid 9 out of 10. Does a fantastic job at building up the characters from the previous movie and leaving it open for that resolution to come in the third movie. Well, that is my take on The Empire Strikes Back. I am AJ Legend. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.